In the silent vastness of space, Earth's destiny hung by a thread. The year was 2047 when the first alien transmission was intercepted by humanity's nascent space network. The message was stark, devoid of any diplomatic pretense. Surrender or be eradicated. Commander Alara Vance, head of Earth's orbital defense, read the message with a mix of dread and defiance. Her office, deep within the Cheyenne Mountain complex, was a hub of activity, screens flashing with data and maps of the solar system. Alara was known for her strategic brilliance and unyielding resolve. Her hair, prematurely gray from years of service, was tied back tightly, her sharp eyes scanning the screens for any sign of hope. She was the kind of leader who thrived under pressure, always 2 steps ahead, but this was unprecedented. The message's origin was traced to a sector of space unknown to humanity, from what would soon be known as the Coalition of the Seven Systems. Their technology was light years ahead, their intentions clear in the chilling simplicity of their ultimatum. Alara's team had to act fast. Humanity was unprepared for an interstellar war. Their technology was child's play compared to what they'd seen in the aliens' broadcast. Yet, giving up was not in her nature, nor in humanity's. She ordered the immediate repurposing of all available tech. Civilian satellites were weaponized, mining lasers recalibrated for combat, and every mind on Earth was rallied to innovate, to adapt, or perish. The decision was fraught with moral and strategic dilemmas. Should they risk all-out war or attempt a diplomatic approach they knew would likely fail? Alara knew diplomacy was a facade. The coalition's intent was genocide, not negotiation. As the first light of dawn broke over the Rockies, Alara made her choice. "We fight," she announced to her team, her voice steady despite the storm of fear that raged within her. She knew this could very well be humanity's last stand, but surrender was not an option. The next hours were a blur of action. Earth's space fleet, modest but now armed with repurposed tech, was mobilized. Scientists and engineers worked in tandem, pushing the boundaries of what was thought possible. They developed crude but effective countermeasures against the expected alien weaponry, betting everything on human ingenuity. Intrigue stirred when a junior analyst, Mia Chen, suggested that the aliens might not be a monolithic force. Perhaps there were factions within the coalition, some possibly less eager for war than others. This seed of doubt and hope planted in Alara's mind led to a covert operation to gather intelligence on the enemy, using the very technology they feared. As Earth prepared, the sky above was an ominous tapestry of stars, each one now a potential harbinger of doom or salvation. Alara knew they were outmatched in every conventional way, but she also knew something the coalition couldn't grasp. The human spirit was indomitable. In these desperate times, humanity would either adapt or vanish from the cosmos. The chapter ends with Alara standing alone, looking through the thick glass of her office at the emerging day, contemplating the hard choices ahead. The sun rose, indifferent to the fate of one small planet, but for Alara, it was a symbol of the fight for survival that was just beginning. The stillness of space was shattered by the roar of alien engines as the coalition's fleet descended upon the solar system. Earth watched in collective horror through telescopes, their fleet dwarfed by the sheer magnitude of the enemy. Mars, with its sparse human settlements, was to be the first battleground. Commander Alara Vance stood at the command center of the makeshift war room on Mars's surface, her face illuminated by the harsh light of monitors. The room buzzed with tension, the air thick with the scent of recycled oxygen and fear. "We've got incoming," announced Lieutenant Jarek, his voice betraying none of the panic that gripped the room. Their numbers are staggering. Alara nodded, her gaze fixed on the holographic display of Mars' orbit. We knew this day would come, she said, her voice calm, a stark contrast to the chaos of her thoughts. Prepare to engage. Use the moons for cover. The strategy was simple, yet risky. Guerrilla warfare in space. The human ships, less advanced but more agile, darted in and out of the shadows cast by Phobos and Deimos, launching surprise attacks. Make every shot count, Alara commanded, her eyes locked on the incoming fleet. We're not just fighting for Mars, we're fighting for Earth's future. The battle was a dance of light and destruction. Human spacecraft, modified from mining vessels and scientific research ships, unleashed salvos of missiles and laser fire. Each hit was a small victory, each loss a punch to the gut. We've hit one of their command ships, exclaimed Mia Chen from her console, her voice a mix of exhilaration and disbelief. It's going down. But the joy was short-lived. The coalition responded with a ferocity that was almost mechanical, their ships adapting to the human tactics. A massive beam of light split the darkness, vaporizing a human frigate in an instant. Alara clenched her fists, her heart racing. We can't keep this up. We're losing too many good people, she muttered, more to herself than anyone else. A voice crackled through the comms, one she hadn't expected to hear. Commander, this is Dr. Kale Voss from Luna. We've seen your engagement. I have an idea, but it's risky. Alara's eyes narrowed. Dr. Voss, once a leading figure in lunar colonization, now held a position on Luna's Defense Council. His sudden involvement was intriguing, possibly ominous. Go on, Kyle, she said, her tone guarded. Use the asteroid belt, he suggested. We could shepherd asteroids into their path, create chaos, buy time. The plan was audacious, potentially devastating if not executed perfectly. Yet, it could turn the tide. Prepare it, Alara decided after a moment of contemplation, her decision reflecting the desperate times. But Kale, I want eyes on you every step of the way. As the battle raged, Voss's plan was put into motion. Asteroids were hurled towards the coalition fleet, causing havoc. Human ships took advantage of the confusion, striking with precision. But the victory was Pyrrhic. For every alien ship downed, human lives were lost. In the thick of the fight, Alara watched as one of her oldest friends, Captain Lara Mendez, was cut down by alien fire. The loss hit hard, a personal stake in this cosmic game of survival. Keep fighting, Alara ordered through gritted teeth, her voice echoing the resolve of humanity. For Lara, for Earth. The chapter closes with the coalition retreating, not out of defeat, but to regroup, leaving behind a scarred Mars and a humanity steeled by loss, but more determined than ever. The intrigue of Voss's involvement lingered, a shadow over the small victory, as Alara pondered the cost of this war and the battles yet to come. The aftermath of the Martian skirmish was a somber affair. The air on Earth was thick with both the acrid smell of war and the scent of victory, however Pyrrhic. But the peace was fleeting, the next move in this cosmic chess game already being played out. Commander Alara Vance, back on Earth, was debriefing with her team when the news came through. Commander! Mia Chen's voice was urgent over the comms. We've lost contact with our lunar defenses. Alara's heart sank. Luna was humanity's frontier, a bastion of hope and defense. Any sign of hostiles? She asked, her mind racing through scenarios. None, Mia replied. But all systems are down. It's like they just vanished. A chill ran down Alara's spine. She remembered Dr. Cale Voss's involvement in the Mars battle, his sudden strategic suggestions. Was this part of a larger scheme? She dispatched a team to Luna, but kept her concerns close, wary of spreading panic or mistrust. On Luna, the scene was one of chaos. The once serene, moonlit landscape was now a shadow of destruction. The team found the defense systems sabotaged, not by an external attack, but from within. Dr. Cale Voss was nowhere to be found, his quarters empty, but for a single data chip left conspicuously on his desk. Alara, now on Luna, inserted the chip into her portable device, her hands trembling slightly. The message was from Voss, his face appearing on the screen, his expression one of forced calm. Alara, if you're seeing this, I'm likely not in a position to explain. I've made a deal with the Coalition. They promised peace for Earth if we step down our defenses. I couldn't let this war consume us all. Alara's jaw tightened, betrayal cutting deeper than any alien weapon. You traded Earth's safety for what? Your own survival? She hissed at the recording. Voss continued. I know this seems like betrayal, but I've ensured the Coalition's technology will be shared with us. We can rebuild stronger. I've set up a signal to guide their forces here, away from Earth. Before Alara could react, an alarm blared. Incoming! Someone shouted. The lunar base was under attack, but not by the expected alien armada. Instead, it was a small, rogue fleet, human ships painted in colors unknown to any registered faction of Earth's military. Who are they? Alara demanded, rallying her forces. They're with Voss, Mia answered, her voice crackling through the chaos. They call themselves the Accord. The battle for Luna was a firefight among humans, the irony not lost on Alara. As laser fire lit up the lunar dust, she made a snap decision. We can't let them take Luna. Use the defense cannons, even if it means destroying our own. The cannons, designed to repel invaders from space, were now turned against human ships. Each blast was a painful reminder of the civil strife Voss's betrayal had ignited. In the heat of battle, Alara spotted Voss himself, commanding his rogue faction. She aimed her sidearm, not to kill, but to stun. Cale, stop this madness! She yelled over the comms. Voss's response was a smirk through the static. For the greater good, Alara. You'll see. But before she could react, an explosion rocked her position. She was thrown back, her vision blurring. As she fought to regain consciousness, her team managed to disable the rogue fleet's command ship, capturing Voss in the process. The fighting ceased, but the damage was done. Luna's defenses were in shambles, many lives lost, and trust shattered. Alara, now with Voss in custody, looked out at the cratered moonscape, her heart heavy. We're not just at war with aliens, she mused aloud, her voice echoing in the silence of the damaged command center. We're fighting ourselves. The twist of human betrayal added a new layer of complexity to the war, with Voss's Accord now a potential fifth column within humanity's ranks. Alara knew that the next steps would require not just military strategy, but political maneuvering to prevent further fractures in human unity. The chapter ends with Alara sending a coded message to Earth, a plea for unity and vigilance, as the true extent of the Coalition's influence among humans began to reveal itself. The skies of Earth, once a canvas of serene blues and whites, were now streaked with the ominous trails of Coalition ships. The siege had begun, with humanity's home planet in the crosshairs. From the Earth's underground command center, Commander Alara Vance and her team watched the enemy formations grow denser on the radar. They're not just here to intimidate, Alara murmured, her eyes scanning the screens. They're here to crush us. The coalition's strategy was clear: suffocate Earth from space, then strike at the surface. But humanity had prepared for this moment. Deep beneath the Earth's crust, in bunkers and subterranean cities, humanity had hidden not just their people, but also their last stand. "Deploy the EMP nets," Alara ordered. It was a desperate gambit, using technology developed from the ancient alien tech found on Earth. The nets were designed to disrupt the Coalition's advanced systems, though at the risk of damaging their own tech too. As the battle commenced, the air above Earth crackled with energy. EMP bursts lit up the sky, causing several Coalition ships to plummet like falling stars. The ground shook with the impact, but it also heralded a moment of hope. "We've taken out a good portion of their fleet," reported Mia Chen, her fingers flying over her console. "But they're adapting fast." The surface of Earth became a battleground. Alien troops, those who survived the EMP, descended in drop pods, meeting human resistance that was fierce and unyielding. In the ruins of what was once Paris, Alara coordinated with local commanders. "Hold the line at the Seine," she commanded over the comms. "Use the river as a natural barrier." Amidst the chaos, Dr. Kale Voss, now a prisoner, was brought before Alara. His once sharp features were now shadowed by regret, or perhaps calculation. "You think you've won with those EMPs?" he sneered, though his eyes betrayed fear. "They'll adapt. They always do." Alara looked at him with a mix of pity and disdain. "We'll adapt too, Kale. Unlike you, we're not just fighting for ourselves." But Voss had one more twist to play. "Check the northern sector," he said cryptically. "You'll find something interesting." Ignoring his taunt, Alara turned away, but the seed of doubt was planted. She dispatched a reconnaissance team to the north, her intuition telling her Voss hadn't spoken without reason. Meanwhile, the battle raged. In Tokyo, a group of human fighters, led by Captain Hiroshi Sato, used the city's labyrinthine tunnels to launch ambushes on alien ground forces. "Remember, every alien we take down today is one less for tomorrow." Hiroshi rallied his troops. The reconnaissance team from the north returned with shocking news. Hidden in the mountains, they found alien tech, not from the Coalition but from another, unknown civilization. It was technology left behind, possibly as a warning or a gift, capable of countering the Coalition's advantage. Could this be what Voss was talking about? Alara pondered aloud, a new strategy forming in her mind. We need to integrate this tech into our defenses now. The decision was fraught with risks. The tech was untested, possibly incompatible. But with the Coalition tightening their grip, there was no time for caution. Engineers and scientists worked feverishly, their lives on the line as much as those fighting above. As night fell, the sky was lit not just by alien and human weapons, but by the glow of new, hybrid technology being deployed. It was a beacon of hope amidst despair, a symbol of human resilience. The chapter ends with Alara watching the first successful use of this alien human tech, downing a significant Coalition ship. However, she knows this is just one battle in a war where every victory is bought with a steep price. The intrigue of Voss's knowledge and the implications of this new technology left many questions unanswered, setting the stage for the next phase of Earth's defense. In the aftermath of the EMP strikes, Earth was a patchwork of destruction and resilience. The ruins of old cities now served as fortresses, and the newly unearthed alien technology became humanity's lifeline. Commander Alara Vance stood in what was left of London, the ancient city now a symbol of human endurance. The technology they found, buried beneath the city, was unlike anything they had encountered before. It was alien, yes, but not from the Coalition. Its origin was a mystery wrapped in the enigma of history. "We're calling it the Catalyst," explained Dr. Aliyah Mansour, one of the leading scientists on the project. "It interfaces with our systems, enhancing them, but there's more. It seems to have a consciousness of its own." Alara frowned. "A consciousness? That's unsettling." Aliyah nodded. "It's not aggressive, though. It's offering us knowledge, technology that could turn the tide. But there's a catch. It wants something in return." "What?" Alara asked, her tone cautious. "It wants us to promise not to use this power to become like them," Aliyah said, gesturing vaguely upwards towards where the Coalition's ships still hovered. "It's like a moral safeguard." The decision was monumental. Accepting this alien tech could save humanity, but at the risk of altering their very nature. "Do we have any choice?" Alara asked, more to herself than anyone else. The team was divided. Some saw it as salvation. Others feared the unknown. Alara, however, knew one thing for certain. Without this tech, Earth's days were numbered. "Use it," Alara decided. "But we set strict protocols. No weaponizing beyond defense. This isn't about becoming conquerors." As they integrated the catalyst into their systems, the technology began to reveal its secrets: energy shields, advanced propulsion, and weapons that could disrupt the very fabric of space around the Coalition ships. But with every gain, there was a reminder of the cost. During a test run of the new tech against a small Coalition scout, the alien consciousness within the catalyst spoke, not through words, but through images and feelings. It showed Alara visions of a universe where wars led to desolation, where once great civilizations fell into ruin due to their own hubris. "Is this a warning?" Alara asked, her voice barely a whisper, gazing at the holographic display. "It's a lesson," Aliyah answered. "A history we're meant to learn from, not repeat." With this new power, humanity launched a counter-offensive. The Coalition, unprepared for such a drastic shift in human capability, suffered significant losses. The battle over London became legendary, with human ships, now cloaked and faster, weaving through Coalition forces like ghosts. "Keep pushing!" Alara commanded over the comms, her heart pounding with both fear and exhilaration. "We're showing them what humans can do when cornered." However, the victory was overshadowed by the moral questions it raised. As they celebrated, a small voice from the back of the command center, a young engineer named Leo, spoke up. "What if we become what we're fighting against?" Alara turned to him, her expression grave. "That's on us, Leo. We choose how to use this gift. We choose to be better." The chapter ends with Earth's forces retreating back to their bunkers, the first real victory in their hands. But the intrigue of the Catalyst's origins, its true motives, and the ethical implications of their newfound power lingered in the air. The fight was far from over, but humanity had awakened to a new era, one where their survival hinged not just on technology, but on the choices they made with it. The space around Saturn had become the new battleground. Humanity's fleet, bolstered by the Catalyst's technology, was on the offensive, aiming to disrupt the Coalition's supply lines. Rings of ice and rock provided cover, turning the planet into a natural fortress. Commander Alara Vance, now aboard the flagship Unity, watched as their forces maneuvered through the rings. "This is where we prove we're not just survivors, we're fighters," she declared over the fleet's open channel. "We've got incoming," warned Mia Chen, her voice tense but steady. "A whole armada, bigger than expected." Alara's eyes narrowed. They underestimated us last time. They won't make that mistake again. The battle was a ballet of destruction. Human ships, now with cloaking and enhanced maneuverability, darted in and out of the rings, laying mines and launching surprise attacks. The coalition, with their superior numbers, attempted to encircle, but the rings turned their own tactics against them. "Look at that!" Captain Hiroshi Sato exclaimed from his position near the ring's edge. "Their ships are getting caught in the debris!" But the coalition had tricks of their own. A massive ship, unlike any seen before, emerged from the dark side of Saturn, its hull bristling with unknown weaponry. "Identify that ship," Alara ordered, her pulse quickening. "It's a dreadnought," Aliyah Mansour reported from her lab, hastily analyzing the data. "And it's equipped with some kind of singularity weapon. If it fires, it could tear through our fleet." Alara made a snap decision. "All ships, converge on that dreadnought. We need to take it out before it charges that weapon." The human fleet, using Saturn's rings for cover, launched a coordinated strike. Missiles and energy beams converged on the dreadnought, creating a brilliant, chaotic light show. But the dreadnought's shields held, absorbing the punishment. "We're not getting through," Mia reported, her voice laced with urgency. "It's charging up!" Alara felt the weight of every life in her command. "Retreat to the rings now!" As ships pulled back, a small group, led by Hiroshi, stayed behind for one last, desperate move. "We'll disable it from the inside," Hiroshi said, his voice firm despite the risk. His team's ship, modified with tech from the catalyst, dove towards the dreadnought, cloaked until the last moment. Inside the dreadnought, Hiroshi's team fought through alien defenses, aiming for the core. "We've got the core in sight," Hiroshi's voice crackled over the comms, just as the dreadnought's weapon reached full charge. Back on the Unity, Alara watched, holding her breath. "Do it, Hiroshi," she whispered. The explosion that followed was silent in the vacuum of space, but visible to all. The dreadnought, torn apart from within, became a beacon of hope and loss. Hiroshi's team had succeeded, but at the cost of their lives. The coalition fleet, now leaderless and in disarray, began a retreat. Alara, her face a mix of triumph and sorrow, looked at the remains of the dreadnought. "For Hiroshi," she said, her voice carrying the weight of victory and sacrifice. The chapter closes with the human fleet regrouping, their spirits lifted by the victory, but tempered by the cost. The intrigue of the dreadnought's advanced tech and the capabilities of the catalyst left many questions unanswered, setting the stage for the final push towards peace or further conflict. The remnants of the human fleet, now seasoned by battles and losses, prepared for what might be their last stand. The coalition, reeling from their defeat at Saturn, had rallied for one final, desperate assault on Earth. Commander Alara Vance, with the scars of war etched deep into her resolve, strategized in silence. The once vibrant command room was now a somber war council. As the coalition's fleet loomed over Earth, a new, unexpected signal was intercepted. It was from Dr. Cale Voss, who had been held in confinement since his betrayal. His message was simple. "I can end this. Trust me one last time." Alara's heart was torn. Trusting Voss again felt like tempting fate, but with Earth's survival hanging by a thread, she ordered his release. Voss, now aboard the Unity, revealed a hidden agenda. He had been in contact with a faction within the coalition, one tired of the war, offering a chance for peace. But the coalition's attack commenced before any peace could be brokered. ships descended upon Earth like dark omens, their shadows stretching over the planet. In the chaos, Voss disappeared into the fray, leaving Alara to wonder if this was another betrayal or a gambit for peace. The battle was apocalyptic. Earth's defenses, enhanced by the catalyst, fought back with fury. Energy shields shimmered, then shattered under the relentless assault. Human pilots, knowing this might be their final flight, engaged with a ferocity born from desperation. In the thick of battle, a coalition ship broke from formation, its weapons silent. It was Voss, having commandeered the vessel, broadcasting on all frequencies. "Cease fire! This war can end here." But the truce was short-lived. Another coalition ship, undeterred, fired what appeared to be a planet-killer weapon aimed at Earth. Alara, seeing the imminent destruction, made her final play. She ordered all ships to converge on the weapon, knowing it would mean sacrificing much of their fleet. Her command was silent, her decision made in the knowledge she might not see Earth's future. As the human fleet converged, creating a wall of ships, a betrayal unfolded. One of the human ships, under the command of an officer influenced by the coalition, turned its weapons on its allies, aiming to clear the path for the planet killer. In the confusion, Alara's ship, the Unity, was hit, critically damaged. With her last moments, Alara aimed the Unity directly at the weapon, using the ship's remaining power to activate the catalyst's most potent feature, a space-time distortion. The Unity became a bullet of light, colliding with the weapon, creating a singularity. The explosion was cataclysmic, erasing both the weapon and Alara from existence, but saving Earth. The Coalition, seeing their weapon destroyed and their forces decimated, began to withdraw. The battle ended not with cheers, but with a heavy silence, the cost of peace too high to celebrate. The intrigue of Voss's true intentions remained. His ship was never seen again, leaving humanity to ponder if his actions were for redemption or another layer of betrayal. The human fleet, though victorious, was shattered, their leader gone, and the future uncertain. With Earth safe but wounded, the chapter closes on the edge of a new dawn, where the remnants of humanity must decide their path forward, with the legacy of Alara Vance echoing through the stars. In the wake of the devastation, Earth was a world reborn from chaos. The skies cleared of enemy ships, but the ground was littered with the debris of war, both alien and human. The loss of Commander Alara Vance was a wound felt by all, her sacrifice a beacon of humanity's resilience. Dr. Aliyah Mansour, now leading the Science Division, worked tirelessly to repair and rebuild. "We've won the war, but peace isn't just about stopping the fighting," she told her team, her voice firm despite the sorrow. "It's about what comes next." The remnants of the coalition, now in disarray, sent a new envoy, not of war, but of peace. The ship, marked by battle scars, descended under a flag of truce. From it emerged a figure, not of the dominant species, but a member of a minor race within the coalition, known as the Virelians, a people who had long opposed the war. "I am Envoy Calyx. We come not as conquerors, but as allies," the Virelian said, his voice resonating with sincerity. "The coalition has fallen into factions, many of whom are ready to sue for peace." This development sparked intrigue and cautious hope. The human leaders, including Mia Chen, who had taken over command of the remaining fleet, met with Calyx. "We need assurances," Mia insisted, her tone reflecting years of battle-hardened skepticism. "No more attacks, no hidden agendas." Calyx nodded. "We offer technology, resources, and a seat at the galactic table. Your Commander Vance's actions have changed many minds within the Coalition. As negotiations began, the intrigue deepened. Dr. Cale Voss, thought lost, returned in a shuttle marked with both human and Coalition insignia. His appearance was met with mixed emotions, suspicion foremost among them. I had to go deep into their ranks to ensure this peace, Voss explained, his gaze steady. I've secured agreements, not just from the Virelians, but from others who seek to dismantle the old Coalition's genocidal regime. The revelation was a double-edged sword. While some saw Voss's actions as redemption, others, remembering his past betrayal, demanded accountability. We won't forget what you did, Cale, Mia said, her voice cold. But if this peace is genuine, you'll have your chance to prove it. The peace treaty was signed in the ruins of what once was the United Nations headquarters, now a symbol of human endurance and rebirth. It was a moment of both closure and new beginnings, with Earth not just surviving but emerging as a respected power in the galaxy. However, the intrigue didn't end there. During the celebrations, Aaliyah stumbled upon encrypted data within the Catalyst's system. It hinted at an ancient, extinct civilization that had once guided the Coalition's path. This knowledge suggested that the tech they had used might have been part of a larger, cosmic game. We need to understand this, Aaliyah whispered, more to herself than anyone else. There might be more out there, watching, waiting. As Earth began to rebuild, the focus shifted from mere survival to prosperity. Technologies from both sides were integrated, turning Earth into a beacon of innovation. The once war-torn planet now looked towards the stars, not with fear, but with ambition. In a final act of remembrance, a monument was erected in the crater where Alara Vance had made her ultimate sacrifice. It was simple, a beacon of light with her name etched in the base, symbolizing the light she had brought to humanity's darkest hour. The chapter, and thus the story, ended with Mia Chen standing before this monument, looking up at the stars. We've won the war, she said quietly, but the universe is vast, and peace is just the beginning of our journey. The legacy of Alara Vance was not only in the peace achieved, but in the unity, innovation, and vigilance that now defined humanity's place among the stars. The intrigue of the Catalyst, the mysteries of the cosmos, and the new alliances forged promised that humanity's story was far from over, but for now, they had won their place in the galaxy, outmatched, but never defeated.